we would love to hear if you have a question you would like to ask us. And Lisa, feel free to chime in, and Mary Elaine, feel free to chime in. And
Well,
How many pages is it?
how many pages is it? It's lots of pictures, pal. You don't have to do any.
Oh, good. All right. Because
It's-
I remember when Rob's book came out, I didn't understand it.
We still have that.
the last page number in the book is page number 30, and that's how much text you get on a page. So don't panic.
Okay. All right.
And there's even a template in the book to help you write your wishes. So I think reading that
Ooh.
page, those pages will be easy. Thank you. Someone else?
What one of our friends this morning was asking about wishes, and if you feel like you have pretty much what you want in your life, how do you come up with wishes? And I thought that was a really, really good question. And when you do this work, we walk you through the process where you look at different areas in your life and really delve into the different areas: family, profession, spirituality, community, friendships, and on and on. And when you really delve into those areas, you'll find places where you would like to bring in more joy. You would like to bring in something more. For example, one of my wishes is for the perfect organized house for me. Now my family knows I'm still working on that, but it's a wish that's out there. So it's those kinds of things that you can want for yourself, and want to help others. So it's not always about wanting something that is material.
I have a question. Who or what are the wishes being directed to, and are they different from prayer?
Ooh, that's a great one. So I'm going to give you my take on that. Margie may want to give you a somewhat different take on it. And that's because my overall answer is it's up to each individual what they believe. I was raised in the Lutheran Christian church, but I left and don't subscribe to all the tenets of Christianity anymore. So it would have been easy to say God. But that isn't what I believe. I've come to believe that there is an energy in the universe. I could name it God if I wanted to, but I don't. I believe it's made up of all of us who are here now, and all of us who have left, and all of us who are yet to be. And that's the power that I give my wishes to. So it's easy to call it the universe if I need one word. But you can call it anything you want. The spoken word is what is important. You can think a million thoughts, and sometimes what I have thought about a lot has come true. But I prefer the notion that speaking out loud is the real power behind this. To commit to the spoken word gets me what I want. To commit to the spoken word can also get you things you don't want. It's all about what you're putting your attention on. Did that answer your question, Heath?
And what would be the relationship of wishes to prayers?
Wishes to prayer. Thank you. I would say it depends on how I formulate my prayer. I really like the idea of prayers of gratitude, prayers for strength and wisdom and courage, and prayers of gratitude are for the wishes that have come true. So that's one angle. And prayers for qualities like strength are really wishes. So for me, there's not much difference between a prayer and a wish. I do not believe I have to say all my prayers out loud, but when I'm asking for something, I better.
And yeah, I would add, as Barbara touched on, there are different kinds of prayers. There's prayers of contrition, prayers of praise, and prayers of petition. And so I agree with what Barbara said. I don't. The difference that I make here is that we have developed a very particular process and a way of articulating these wishes that seems to work. And so it's a particular practice. So if you say, you might compare it to any other practice of that you engage in. If that helps a little bit too.
Thank you. That was a great question.
And I must say that a foundational tenet that a belief that I have in this work basically is prayers answered. And some of those prayers answered in some of my very darkest and most trying times. And so I think there's a real synergy analogy together.
I think Margie and I are going to work more on this topic for our workshop, because in a party like this, there's no way we can discuss the breadth and depth of philosophy, theology, history, and other related thinking that has gone into this for both of us, our lifetimes of experiencing and learning and believing. But it is very deep work. And our picture book is something joyful that just really sits on the surface of it.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara, one of the questions that we often get is, what kinds of things do you wish for? What are some examples?
Oh, thank you. My favorite question. So when I started doing this in this methodical way, the first suggestion was to wish for the perfect pair of blue jeans. And not that I could go into a retail store and buy them. I had to find them in a secondhand shop. And I couldn't believe it. I walked into this secondhand shop I'd never been in before, and there was the perfect pair of jeans. They fit me. I may even still have them. And this is a lot of years ago. I populated my wishes at first with things that I wanted, but I also populated my wishes with a little bit more philosophical, like I wanted understanding about certain things. I wanted to be able to handle certain relationships better than I was handling them. And then I started to expand. I did wish for someone to work on book projects with me. And Lisa showed up at my son's birthday party shortly thereafter. And the rest is history that Margie can fill you in on, or I can fill you in on. I told you earlier I wished for the perfect dog. I had lost my beloved dog the year before, and I was ready. But this year I got bold and I wished for my ideal home. I had about 10 or 12 wishes because there were different things about the home that I wanted. And as some of my friends on the screen know, I am sitting in a home that I purchased 2 months ago and moved into a month ago that is absolutely my ideal home in my ideal neighborhood. And I feel like I'm at the top of my game living here, that I finally have arrived in the place that I wanted to be all my life. the little things like I wanted ceiling fans. This home has ceiling fans. The big things like I wanted to live in an evergreen forest. I woke up the first morning and there's an evergreen tree right outside my bedroom window. So it can be practical and it can be impractical, and it can be things that seem large in a single life. But I think Margie mentioned earlier, we don't wish for world peace. That's not in my purview. But what I can do is I can wish to work on projects with the fullness of my strengths that will help the world towards world peace or any other similar goal.
Yeah. And, for example, what I wish for, what I wanted was a way to use my skills, my talents, and show my photography. And a studio opened in Marblehead that had public showings, and you didn't have to pass any panel of judges or anything. You could just pay your fee. And I participated in several of those shows, sold several of my photographs. And then our book project came up, which really gave me an opportunity to put not just my photographs, but my writings out there. So I think what this work has really led me to an exploration of what really brings joy, and it's also led me to let go of a lot of things that, if I really had to think about it, I really, they were shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and they really, they were kind of coming in from outside, and they weren't what brought joy to me. So doing this work really kind of helps focus on what really brings joy to you, and clarifies in ways of looking at it.
So Barbara and Margie, a little more on the practical side, and I know this is probably something more, that you'll go into in the workshop, but just kind of a basic teaser. How do you write a wish? How do you put it into words? Is there a formula?
Okay, we don't write I wish, we write I want. And the reason for that is that in English, wish has sort of a nuance of doubt to it. I wish I could have that. And you can just hear that the person doesn't really think they're going to get it. But if I put my stake in the ground and say, I want this to happen, there's a strength to it that contributes to, I think, the energy that goes into wishing. And then we use 14 words altogether. So I want and 12 more words. We don't run on into great long paragraphs. We want to be able to say the wish in one breath, and 14 words about does it. I personally use words like either something that's perfect for me or something that's ideal for me. The wish should be at the same time specific, but not micromanaged, because how you get your wish is up to the universe or whatever power it is you see. But it's about the outcome that you're looking for. So I didn't micromanage how I was going to get into this house. Lisa's laughing because of my little doggy butt in the screen. He thinks he's a cat. He lives with 2 cats, and so he climbs up on the back of the chair, but this chair has been defeating him. Right, Scout? So 14 words, starting with I want, the outcome you're looking for. Yeah. And in the workshop, we'll go over a lot of specific examples.
And it's always in the positive.
Yeah.
And it's something that that you'll know when you get it. It's, you know, as Barbara said, you're not wishing for world peace. You're wishing for things that you'll know, and you're wishing for yourself, not for others. You have to respect free will.
That's right.
So, you know, for example, I could say, I want to help someone do something, you know, but I can't say I want that for them, because you can only take responsibility for yourself, and it has to be a positive. The universe, it's kind of like dogs. When I had my dog, who is not here now, in training, the trainer said dogs do not understand negatives. So you can't say don't do that, or you know, do not, you know, because all they hear is do. And so you have to change the way that you're communicating. And so you don't ask not for something not to happen. So you never phrase a wish in a negative. It's always in a positive.
There's other steps to the practice that we do. We write 150 wishes, then we choose 101 of them to put our attention on. But as they come true, you can fill in from the remaining 49. Keep them in a journal, say them out loud during the course of the year. When you get done the year, you can have a little ceremonial burning of the wishes, but you notice how many have come true, and you start over again for the next year. And there's nothing particularly, I lost the word I wanted. It's not vital that you abide by our calendar year, but the idea is that you don't hold on to wishes forever. I noticed that a couple of things happened this year. Every year, some of your wishes may obsolesce. It's something you thought you wanted, but as the year wore on, maybe things changed in your life. You don't want it anymore. Fine, cross it off. This year, I had quite a few wishes get put on hold, and I just put on hold because of COVID. So for example, any wish about travel got put on hold. I'm not going to do it until probably next year or the year after. So by the time, I mean, I've hit more than 101 wishes coming true. I've been doing this for 3 years now. And I think I said earlier, I don't even count the parking spaces that come along that I wished for. I also wanted to say something about what Margie said about not doing harm and not putting things in the negative. This work is entirely about what you put your attention on. You are a powerful being, whether you realize it or not. And that's a big message of our work, is that we're doing this as our individual selves. I had an experience 10 years ago where I put most of my attention on my fear of being fired. And sure enough, I got fired. And the lesson there was, what you put your attention on is what you're going to attract into your life. It's the same lesson I think a lot of us are learning from this pandemic madness we're in. There have been many gifts of this time that we have spent in lockdown, in quarantine, out of contact with people we love. There have still been many positives to it. So that thing that happened to me 10 years ago is the biggest gift I've ever been given. But I think that I had a lot to do with it happening because of what I put my attention on. So be careful what you wish for. You might get it.